Hello, my name is Catalina González Cabrera, and I am a professor from the University of Azuay. I'm here to introduce to you the article titled Narrative Formats for Teenage Pregnancy Prevention, the effect of the narrative modality of preventive attitudes, which appears in the Latina Journal of Social Communication number 73. This article has been written by myself and Professor Juan José Igartua from the University of Salamanca. Unintended teenage pregnancy is a public health problem in several countries, especially in developing countries such as Ecuador, which has the highest rate of unintended teenage pregnancies in Latin America. However, while health campaigns and communication interventions can spread awareness about the risks of teenage pregnancy, it has been found that the explicit persuasion messages that are present in traditional advertising are not as effective as the influence of persuasive messages immersed in educational entertainment programs. Entertainment education format is used to persuade the audience while they consume entertainment, as its content can influence their behavior and, for example, can promote safe sex. Empirical research has shown that the use of narratives has significant effects on attitudes, beliefs, behavioral intention, and behavior. This process of narrative persuasion has a number of mechanisms that explain the impact of entertainment education messages. In particular, it has been pointed out that identification with characters and narrative transportation or engagement are the most relevant mechanisms, because both of them reduce the chance of counter-arguing and resistance to the message, which favors persuasion. Through an experimental study, we manipulated the narrative style of the story. One of the short videos produced for this purpose used dialogues between characters, and the other one presented the story through testimonials delivered by the same characters. In other similar works, character dialogues have been successfully used to strategically include preventive messages about the consequences of risky sexual behaviors. However, for this study, we decided that the use of the first-person narrative voice, the key feature of testimonial narratives, would make the video with testimonial narrative format more effective than the dialogic narrative format, due to the potential power of the first-person narrative voice to increase identification with the protagonist and narrative transportation. To this approach, we have added an innovative element that could condition such process: the level of media literacy, given that being literate in the use of the media is a characteristic feature of the female participants, just like the education level. For the purposes of this study, media literacy has been defined as the key skills that people need to realize how the media and advertising messages can persuade them negatively through erroneous messages and models of sexual behavior. In this case, we measured the media literacy level in female participants by means of a 3-subdimension scale, which allow them to indicate how they perceive the sexualized management of advertising and media content on their representations. The two videos had narratives whose objective was to stimulate viewers' behavioral intention and preventive attitudes, their knowledge on how to prevent unintended pregnancy, and their perception of risk and vulnerability. The results of the experimental research indicate that the video with the testimonial narrative format provoked an increase in narrative transportation or engagement among female participants with a low media literacy level. Moreover, the analysis of the conditional process of indirect effects indicates that the video with testimonial format generated greater transportation than the dialogic format, which prompted viewers to perceive greater risk of situations of gender-based or domestic violence arising during teenage pregnancy. The existence of an interaction effect between the type of narrative format and the media literacy level obtained in the second subdimension that measured the perceived understanding of sexual myths in the media indicates that the only positive, conditional, indirect, and statistically significant effect occurred in teenage girls with a low level of perception of sexual myths in the media. We also found out that the testimonial format induced greater identification with the character of Claudia, who was the positive role model, prompting the perception of greater risk of gender and domestic violence situations during teenage pregnancy. While the effect of interaction between the type of narrative format and the level of perceived understanding of sexual myths in the media was not statistically significant, it did prompt a positive, conditional, indirect, and statistically significant effect in teenage girls with a low perception of sexual myths in the media. These results indicate that the testimonial format in comparison to the dialogic one increased the perception of risk through the generation of greater identification with Claudia in the female participants with a low media literacy level. In conclusion, our work represents an advance in the understanding of the processes of narrative persuasion in the context of health, as it confirmed that the media literacy level acts as a relevant moderating variable that determines the effect of narrative formats in the processes of reception and attitudinal measures. Thanks for your attention.